I'm not for opening statements. Let's go to questions.
All right, sounds good.
Coach, with the whirlwind that this season has been for you guys, I mean, how rewarding is it to see the guys show up in a big moment like they did today?
Yeah, this one was particularly emotional, and for a lot of different reasons. I think Sharpie, probably just one of them, but also just the fortitude that these guys have shown. Left for dead, basically told that they were terrible probably a few times throughout the year. Told them to block out the noise and just keep going, one foot in front of the other. That's life, you know. You get knocked down, you got to get back up, and you got no other choice. And these guys, they just galvanized. I mean, it was just amazing. We had to cover so many innings early. We knew that if we could get some guys back, that would help. But collectively, just to have the mindset flipped of just saying, you know what, we're going to refuse to go down. These guys stayed in the fight to get here, and to be able to finish the fight in this ballpark in front of the fans, I can't put it into words. It's pretty gratifying, special, and again, it's not the rings and the dog piles are amazing, but just the lessons these kids are going to learn is so important.
For Ty to kind of have the day that he did today, kind of given kind of his season has kind of followed the whole teams. I mean, what did that kind of mean to you, the coach, to see him do that?
Yeah, same thing, right? I mean, Ty took some on the chin early. I mean, he's facing Vanderbilt and LSU and you know, all these teams right out of the chute. Had some really high moments, had some growing pains along the way. And he had to make a choice too. He had a choice to make. He said, you know, I know I'm probably not going to stick around in the rotation too much longer if I keep doing what I'm doing. And I think he just started trusting the game plan, and just we tweaked some things as well. Not necessarily mechanically, a little bit mechanically, but a little more pitch usage. He's got all four going. I mean, it was slider, it was changeup, curveball, and fastball. And he's mixing them in all those different counts. And so he made a huge adjustment about midway through the year, and he's been one of our best guys.
What was the conversation with Ty as the game went on? I mean, realistically, what were you hoping to get out of him, and then what was it like between them?
I had an inkling that Ty was going to have a really good performance today. He was going to be able to go as long as he was pitching well. And it got to 120 pitches. That was kind of the end of the line there. But he wanted to go back out for the ninth inning. But yeah, we were just going to let him go as long as he needed to. He only threw 40 pitches on Tuesday, and again, a lot like Brockett last year, right? Started on Tuesday, persevered from that, came back, and was his best when we needed it most.
Why did you have an inkling? What made you feel that way?
I just think Ty's competitive fire had him ready for this, and we had a pretty testy series with UCLA last time around. And he was kind of right in the middle of some of that, and I kind of had a feeling that he was going to want to respond. And again, nothing but respect for their ball club and their coaches. They've got an unbelievable team. But we felt like, you know, we had a guy on the mound that could keep him off balance, and if he had his fastball command, it was going to give him some trouble, and he did that.
The games that he pitched earlier in the season against Vanderbilt and those kind of bigger games, it seemed like he always was the guy, you know, when you're facing those types of teams. How did that help him?
Yeah, that set him up for this, and just Coach Childress's unwavering belief in him, number one, just to saying, hey, we're going to keep feeding this guy, and you know, I have all the trust in the world in him, and you know, I think Ty knew too that he just needed to. He did a lot of growing up to get to this point to start the year, but kind of those growing pains playing those teams. He realized, okay, this is what I got to do to win when it matters. To make pitches and not shake off coach, you know, thinking I've got a better plan, just saying I'm going to stick to the game plan and execute that. And he stopped thinking, and he just started getting in compete mode.
Coach, you guys faced two of the better pitchers on the two top teams in the country to get this championship. I mean, what did you guys do at the plate that just really helped you get a lead early on and then kind of maintain the success that you were having?
I just thought that our guys were incredibly sold out to the game plan and whatever that was for that particular day. And, you know, we got on some pitchers early because of that. And that's important because you want the pitchers to have to adjust to what you're doing and not the other way around. And we were relentless 1 through 9. I mean, there was no 6 home run barrage from one guy this year. And it was just a total team effort, and 1 through 9 in the order. guys coming off the bench, and, you know, Rhett Stokes, I mean, Overbeat gets hurt, plug in a senior, who was, I think he was all tournament last year, right? And so he's in the game today. What a play in the 9th inning. I mean, he came across the field like a shortstop and made that play, and, you know, just made some winning plays for us. But yeah, just an incredible job, by the entire team. That's what it took to win this one particularly.
Coach, last night, you addressed and said, why not pack up Charles Schwab with Husker Nation, and they
Yeah.
showed up for you today.
Yeah.
Just it brought a lot of electricity to your team. You could see it with Carey with his RBI double in the second
course.
inning. And how does really that set the tone for you guys? You know, you talked earlier in the week, do or die moment
Right.
for you guys, backs against the wall, and then your fan base just shows up.
Yeah, they did, and we don't take it for granted either. They stuck with us when, you know, things weren't going so well, and, you know, we still had 7,000 folks in our ballpark the last 2 weekends when, you know, the weather was warm, and we really needed to win those series to get here. I mean, that was very important. At different level here in this ballpark, I mean, it's rowdy, and that's the thing that's a separator. When teams that come in here and it's just super loud, I think it gets the hitters sped up in the box in these big moments, the opposing hitters. Our guys are used to it, right? So they feed off of it, and they just kind of want to pass the line, you know, to the next guy. And you know, there's some big swings in there today that the crowd was just unbelievably loud. And man, the end of the 8th inning was incredibly loud. When we got that third out of the 8th inning, I thought the crowd was electric. So again, couldn't thank them enough. Couldn't have done it without them. 10 straight wins in this building, I think it is now.
You mentioned the guys midway through, you know, having to put one foot in front of the other and just keep going through. Are you able to describe just how difficult that truly is when,
Yeah.
when so many things are going wrong, there's injuries, there's sicknesses, and you just have to keep going?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do is to throw your hands in the air and say, we can't do it. That's the easy thing. That's the loser mentality, is to say, well, we would have done it, but, you know, we would have done it except this, you know. And I think, like I said, I think last night, it took a few games to try to figure out what our identity was going to be after we lost McConaughey and Timmerman. There's been a couple of different identities throughout the year. It's hard. It's incredibly hard. Winning is tough as it is. When you're down in the dumps and you're facing all kinds of adversity, you got to have some real toughness to you to do that, and you have to make a choice collectively to do that. And that's the thing that's most gratifying about this whole deal. I love to win. I hate losing, and I love to win. But I'm just so overjoyed for these players and the experience that they get to have, and the rewarding experience that they get to have because they chose to stick it out and have a winning mentality instead of making excuses of why we couldn't do it.
Obviously, you would have liked to have a stronger start to the season, but just with the way this team has played in that playoff mentality, how does that maybe benefit you guys going into a potential regional that you didn't have last year, because you'd already kind of gotten that spot?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing our best. We've been playing our best for the last 6 weeks. I would rather have it that way than start hot and then fizzle at the end and kind of limp to the finish line. And we certainly didn't do that last year either. But the way we're playing right now, just kind of the guys seeing how if we play together and play complementary baseball, we can beat anybody in the country. I mean, anybody. I mean, we've proven it. We proved it at the beginning of the year, and in a totally different version of our team has proved it at the end of the year too. So just got to keep that up.
Well, would you say, I mean, how would you compare and contrast this tournament run to the one a year ago? Was this a totally different experience from your perspective, or were there some parallels?
I think it was totally different because last year we knew we were safely in, and we felt like we were going to play baseball beyond this week. I think the guys wanted to stay here and continue to fight, of course, and to have a chance to dogpile and maybe get more mill money along the way last year. But we knew that, hey, win or lose this tournament, we were going to be continuing to play baseball. And this one was different because we knew coming into this tournament, this was our shot. And for these guys to play the way that they played this week against the opponents that we played against, hats off to my players. I mean, they really pulled through. The pitchers, the guys on defense, and the guys in the box, man, they were up for it.
What kind of confidence does it give your group heading into next week when you'll face everybody's best, knowing, hey, we've beaten Jirwa, Grinsel, J.D. Thompson?
Yeah, I mean, we've how many quad one wins do we have now? 8, 9, something like that. I mean, we've faced a lot of really good teams, and that's why we, you know, our goals are big here. You shoot for the stars, and you know sometimes you take it on the chin, but you also get gristled along the way, and you get calloused along the way, and our guys get to see what the best look like and what you got to do to beat them, and that's really important. That's really important as you go into the postseason, because there's nothing that they haven't seen at this point. We've seen a lot of really good teams, and it'll help us.
Any update or anything you can say on Robbie?
It was a hamstring. What a play, by the way. I mean, that's a center fielder running a ball down. He ran. I'd like to see the catapult on that one, or the vest that the guys wear. That's as fast as I've seen him run all year long. Unbelievable play. Just kind of felt, hopefully it's not too severe. Felt like he was probably going to be about 70-80%. Kind of nice to have a guy like Max Butenbeck at your disposal to put back in there. A lot of guys were ready to step up, but hopefully Robbie can, and Overbeek for that matter too, can get healed up.
Ty mentioned how much McConaughey has just given him encouragement over the last couple weeks, and I mean, how have you seen in the dugout those guys that weren't able to go, or you know, like Robbie had to come out in the middle of the game? How have you seen them encourage the players who are actually on the field?
Man, it's been awesome to see that. McConaughey is an absolute stud of a human being. He is an absolute stud of a teammate. We know how good a pitcher he is. He was adamant. He's like, I'm traveling with the team. We're going to find a way for me to travel with the team. Even if, you know, we've got to get a waiver from the Big Ten to do it and some of those things. So we did that. He traveled with us. He's a mentor. Just like Brett Sears was. And I think Brett Sears has still kind of been a mentor to Ty as well. But McConaughey has meant a lot to our staff. He's a bulldog, and he was there kind of putting his arm around some guys, challenging some guys along the way. And just seeing, you know, Robbie, I said, hey man, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know what, coach, forget it. Let's just go win a championship. You know, I mean, that's the mindset that these guys have.
Is that a role that he pushed on Mason at all, or did he take that by himself?
He understands what comes from being the Friday night guy and kind of being the front man for the staff. I mean, he embraced that. Going back to last summer when they stayed on campus and they all were working and grinding together. So he was up for it. And yeah, it was his decision. I mean, we wanted it too, but he said, he was actually pissed at me that he didn't get to go to California. And this was when he was still trying to figure out what a surgery date was. I was like, well, dude, what if you have to get surgery like while we're in California for 12 days? And he's like, well, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. But yeah, he's a stud, and I love that kid. And he's poured his entire, everything he's got into this team, even without being able to pitch.
Coach, looking holistically at this event, the new system of pool play, you have the unique perspective.
I love it.
All incredible.
Yeah.
All in the year, you're almost done.
Yeah.
And then now you're the champion of it, so obviously you're happy with it right now.
What an
What's your
unbelievable
perspective on
format,
that?
right? I mean, just couldn't have played out any better, right? I mean, gave us an opportunity to play some of the best teams in the country and get to a championship. Yeah, I'm sure we'll look at some things along the way, just make some tweaks here and there if we need to. But the tournament was great. Husker Nation was great.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thanks, Coach.